Last May 12th, Jeff Fry was brought to the jail after Elyria police arrested him on a misdemeanor bench warrant. Video shows Fry is searched, then walked toward another room for a body scan. That's when the 58-year-old appears to turn away from the jailer escorting him.
I have an update concerning an incident that took place on May 12, 2023 with Mr. Jeff Fryer as he was arrested by the Elyria Police Department, then taken to the Lorain County Jail.
Last May 12th, Jeff Fry was brought to the jail after Elyria police arrested him on a misdemeanor bench warrant. Video shows Fry is searched, then walked toward another room for a body scan. That's when the 58-year-old appears to turn away from the jailer escorting him. In an instant, that jailer, Brian Tellier, appears to lower his weight and fling Fry, who's handcuffed behind his back, toward a wall.
The original coverage drew over 1 million views, and a lot of people wanted to know what happened to this jailer and what was the update. Today we have answers for you, but if you're not familiar with this story, let's first catch you up, and then we'll give you the update.
There's no give in that wall, and Jeff was just put face first into it.
In his report, Tellier wrote he was worried Fry would escape and blamed the fall on Fry's, quote, intoxicated state. Last fall, Fry told us he wasn't planning to run and that he didn't remember what happened next. Video shows jailer pick Fry up, then carry him into another booking room, Fry's legs dragging beneath him.
Just because I couldn't believe it could be done to anybody.
Fry's left arm is still in a sling. He says because of his injuries, he still requires help to do many day-to-day activities.
I'm still paralyzed, probably 80% in my arms. I can't dress myself.
In the federal civil rights lawsuit, Fry's attorney names Tellier the jailer, Lorain County Sheriff, the city of Elyria, the ambulance company, as well as others, seeking money for what DiCello calls excessive force, medical negligence, and other civil rights violations, believing what happened to Fry was not an isolated incident, instead what he called a culture and leadership problem.
Nobody's ever interviewed Jeff from the Lorain County Sheriff. No one has ever asked him what happened. No one has ever said that's wrong and it shouldn't have happened to you.
At no point was his head or neck stabilized, not even as video captured Fry repeatedly being slammed onto a stretcher. At the hospital, his lawyer says Fry was diagnosed with multiple fractures in his neck and permanent damage to his spinal cord. As the video played today, Fry said he couldn't watch. The emotions, even 8 months later, just too much. The video from inside the Lorain County Jail can be tough to watch. Civil rights attorney Nick DiCello says that's why it's important no one turns away.
This is one of the most blatant and outrageous uses of excessive force that we have seen.
Remember, Mr. Fry was not arrested for a serious crime. This all stems from a homeless man not being able to pay his fine.
I didn't pay my fine. I was homeless. You know, I had no money.
Handcuffed and thrown headfirst into a wall by a jailer.
My head snapped back, and that was it.
For Jeff Fry, even sitting in one place
Sorry, it's got to stretch.
is difficult. His left arm in a sling, he has only partial use of his hands. Nothing like the 58-year-old seen here in surveillance video walking into the Lorain County Jail May 12th. In his report, that jailer told supervisors because of the, quote, risk of potential escape, he attempted to place Fry against the wall, but that Fry fell due to his intoxicated state. While there's no audio on the surveillance video, Fry says he had no plans to escape.
I was in handcuffs. That's a 15-foot fence, barbed wire.
The Elyria police officer who was there reported it appeared as though Fry tripped over his own feet. He noted Fry was mumbling and appeared heavily dazed from the impact. His eye begun to swell and was bleeding from his mouth. Fry says he doesn't remember what happened next, but video shows jailers pick him up and carry Fry, his legs dragging beneath him, into a holding area. Fry says that's where he came to.
And they started talking and asked me how I was doing. I said, I don't know, you just broke my neck.
Despite that, at no time on the video does anyone appear to stabilize Fry's head. Instead, a nurse checks his vital signs. With Fry seated, propped up against a wall, Tellier appears to twice reenact what happened. An ambulance was called for Fry, but according to a letter from the jail's administrator, it was not a result of the use of force. Instead, James Gordon told a sheriff's captain it was for Fry's, quote, extreme intoxication and low blood pressure. That jail administrator, James Gordon, is Tellier's father-in-law, according to a sheriff's captain. Again, without audio, there's no way to know what that ambulance crew was told about Fry's injuries. But watch what happens as they try to position Fry on the stretcher. Fry says he doesn't remember it, only saw it weeks later on video. However, more than 2 months later, there was no indication Tellier was disciplined for any of it. And a sheriff's office captain confirmed this week Tellier is still working.
Not necessarily. Let's get some updates. Former correction officer Brian Tellier turned himself in and was booked into custody and later posted the $135,000 bond. Tellier has been indicted on multiple charges, including felonious assault, tampering with evidence, and dereliction of duty. And unfortunately, Jeffrey Fryer suffered a broken neck and lasting injuries as a result of the 2023 incident. The Lorain County Sheriff's Office newly established Inspector General completed the internal investigation and forwarded the findings to prosecutors. The case is expected to be presented to a grand jury for further criminal action. The FBI launched a federal investigation into the incident and obtained video evidence and reports from the jail. Unrelated to this case, this guy just doesn't stop. Additional charges were filed in a separate case, including 2 counts of endangering children related to a THC gummy incident. We are still awaiting word on any disciplinary actions for the Elyria police officer who falsified his report by claiming it appeared Fry tripped, as well as the jail administrator James Gordon, who was the father-in-law. A federal lawsuit was filed by Jeffrey Fry seeking $40 million in damages, naming Lorain County Jail, Elyria Police, and other officials for civil rights violations and excessive force. So the jailer was taken into custody and charged. This case was even investigated by the FBI, and there is a $40 million lawsuit that's currently in process. And just like myself, and I know the rest of you guys, I hope he wins every penny. But even with that said, $40 million is not enough money to have to live your life with those type of injuries. And this is the result of overzealous police officers and jailers in America. You must know your rights. You must learn to protect yourself. And by protect yourself, I mean police accountability. Hold them accountable and let them know we the people no longer stand for this type of behavior. With that being said, we the people you, signing off.